Hello, class of 2023. Welcome to your sophomore presentation. Today I will be going over information that will help you navigate your 10th grade year, such as reviewing your graduation requirements, testing information, bright futures, as well as information regarding college and career planning. During this presentation, I will also be making references to the sophomore checklist packet, which is located on our school website, www.pvchs.com, under the School Counseling tab, under the Class of 2023 link. Our school counseling website has lots of information pertaining to scholarships, college visits and planning, and summer programs. Another great way for you and your parents to keep up with the latest school counseling news is by joining our weekly reminder by going to pvchs.com, click on School Counseling, and then School Counseling Reminder. Each year, our school counseling department will provide you with a checklist of important items you need to pay attention to for that particular year. Please make sure to review your sophomore year checklist carefully. As I mentioned before, it can be found in the packet on our website under School Counseling by clicking Class of 2023. Throughout this presentation, I will be highlighting a few things from this checklist, such as your graduation requirements. To earn a traditional high school diploma, you need to complete the following requirements. You need to earn 24 credits in the following areas. 4 years of English, so you have to pass English every year. 4 years of math. Of those 4 years, you have to have Algebra 1, and you also have to have geometry. Those are state mandated. You have to have those two courses. 3 years of science. One of them has to be a physical science, which you most likely have taken last year as a 9th grader. Biology, most of you are taking it now as a sophomore. And then your junior year is a science elective. That can be chemistry, which also counts as a physical science, as well as an elective, anatomy, physics, any ACE or AP science class. Those will all count as a science elective. You need 3 years of social studies. World history, many of you are taking world history this year as sophomores, or you may have had it last year as a 9th grader. Your junior year, you will be taking U.S. history, and then senior year, half the year will be economics and the other half will be U.S. government. You also need a fine or performing art class, such as debate, any art class, whether it's drawing and painting, ceramics, art 3D, band courses, chorus, keyboarding, digital infotech, journalism 1, eurythmics, those all count as fine art classes. You also need a PE class. That could be, half of it could be team sports or individual sports or weight training. The other half has to be personal fitness. So many of you took the team sports personal fitness combination last year. That will count. Remember, personal fitness has to be the other half. Some of you went a different route to take PE. You took it online, and you may have taken Hope Segment 1 and Hope Segment 2. That will also count as a PE credit. So either track is fine. You can take PE every year. If you take it every year, those will count as electives. So you need 8 credits of electives to graduate. So if I didn't mention it as a requirement for graduation, it will count as an elective. So for example, your foreign language credit. To graduate high school, you do not need foreign language. However, to be eligible for a 4-year university, in most universities in the nation, you have to have 2 consecutive years of the same language. So for example, Spanish 1 and Spanish 2, or French 1 and French 2. Those are just examples, okay? So if I didn't mention it, remember, it will count as an elective. Even if you go beyond your math credits or science credits or social studies. You're probably thinking, well, why would I want to go beyond what's necessary? Well, remember, colleges, and it says it right on your checklist, they like to make sure that you have rigor in your curriculum throughout high school. This is what's going to prepare you if you decide to go to whether it's community college or 4-year university, even the military. The more academic preparation you have, the better chances of success you'll have in those institutions. So it's really important that you still try to increase your rigor every year and try to do as well as you can to be successful later when you're continuing with your education after high school. Another requirement is that you need to earn a 2.0 GPA. Now, that's just to graduate high school. That's also it's also to participate in sports. You need a minimum 2.0, but to graduate high school, you need a 2.0. However, for colleges, they want to see more than a 2.0, and the same with a lot of scholarship programs, and I'll be discussing that later during this presentation. You also need to earn 20 hours of community service. That's not per year, that's 20 hours cumulative. Again, for other scholarship programs, which I'll be going over later, you'll see that you'll need more hours than just 20. It needs to be for a non-for-profit organization. There are 2 exams you have to pass, 2 state assessments that are mandatory for graduation. That's the Grade 10 FSA ELA, which you'll be taking later in the spring. And then for the math assessment, you have to pass the Algebra 1 EOC. Some of you have already taken it, have passed it. If not, you'll be taking it this year. But that's actually the only EOC you need for graduation is the Algebra 1 EOC. And then for the reading, you need to pass the Grade 10 FSA. And then last but not least, you also need to complete an online course. In your packet, you have detailed instructions on how to sign up for an online course. Your counselor also must approve it. Remember, the law says that you must complete at least 1 online full course in order to earn your diploma. Some full courses are only semester long, such as driver's ed. Even though it's just a half credit, the whole course is only a half credit. Some full courses, such as guitar, have 2 semesters, first semester and second semester, and that makes it 1 whole credit. But to satisfy the online requirement, you have to take both semesters if you choose a full 1 credit class such as guitar. So please keep these things in mind. While you have until the end of your senior year to complete this requirement, we strongly recommend that you try to get this recommendation done prior to your senior year. Summer times are usually a great time to take an online course. Also in your packet, we have information regarding community service, including guidelines and the community service log. Remember, you need a total of 20 to graduate. However, the Bright Future Scholarship Program, which I'll be reviewing over in more detail later during this presentation, requires at least 75 to 100 hours of community service hours. You can also find more information and also how to upload your log online if you go on our Park Vista website under the School Counseling tab and then under Community Service Information. Also, as a reminder, SIS needs to be your best friend. If you're ever wondering, well, what's my GPA? What's my class rank? How many community service hours do I actually have? Where can I find my absences? All of this can be found on SIS. And we have helpful hints here in our presentation on how to locate all of this information. You really want to become acquainted with SIS because later on when you're applying to colleges and also when you're filling out scholarship applications, they're going to ask you for information such as what classes did you take, what were your final grades in these courses, and what was your GPA. And being familiar with SIS will help a lot. Another important item on your sophomore checklist is taking the 10th grade PSAT, which will be held on October 29. To register for this test, you must go on your student portal and sign up on the testing tile. Why should you take the 10th grade PSAT? First of all, it's a great way to practice for the PSAT National Merit Scholarship Qualifying Test, which you will have the opportunity to take your 11th grade year. The PSAT you take your 11th grade year, if you earn a top score in the nation, usually in the top 1%, you have a chance to win money and recognition for college. Also, it's a great way to practice for the SAT. The SAT typically you'll start taking spring semester of your junior year. As you know, this SAT is one of the college admission exams that are required from most universities and colleges throughout the nation. Again, the more practice you have prior to taking the SAT, the more chances of success you'll have when you actually start taking it your junior year. Also, when you take the PSAT your 10th grade year, you can opt into student search services for colleges and for also many other scholarships. And a really good reason to take the PSAT is that you can get a free personalized SAT practice plan through SAT Practice on Khan Academy. Students who sign up for satpractice.org can connect their College Board and Khan Academy accounts to create a personalized student plan based on their latest test results. Research shows that students who dedicate 20 or more hours of practice through Khan Academy saw an average 115-point increase from when they took the PSAT to when they took the SAT. College Board also has other tools to help with college planning, such as the 9th, 10th grade college planning checklist, which is also included in your packet. Our school counseling department also likes to share the latest information on what it takes to get into one of Florida's state universities. In your packet, you have a copy of the Florida State University System Admissions Matrix, a tool that we like to share with our students every year. This is based on the class of 2019 and what they had on average to get into these universities. So let's use FAU for an example. Those seniors who graduate 2019 and applied to these universities, specifically FAU, they had on average to attend FAU a mid-range GPA of between a 3.58 and a 4.18. Now, that doesn't mean you have to have this exact GPA. This is what students had on average. And that GPA is based on their academic units. To be eligible for any of these universities, you have to have earned a minimum of 18 academic credits. So remember when I went over your graduation requirements, I said you need 3 years of science, 4 years of math, 4 years of English. Well, most of these students who were admitted to these universities had beyond that. So they may have had science their senior year. They may have had more than 4 credits of math, of language arts, of social studies, and of course they would have had, and they have to have, their 2 years of a foreign language. They may have had even more years of that, maybe 3 or 4. So these universities, specifically, I'm going to talk about FAU, but all of them do the same thing. They will look at their final grades in all of their classes, which is on their transcript. That's your academic record. And they're going to kind of filter out the non-academic and look at your academic classes. And then they're going to weight them. So traditionally, A's are worth 4 points, B's are 3s, C's are 2 points, D's are 1s. Well, they're going to weight your classes. If it happens to be an honors class, let's say you got an A in biology honors, they're not going to just award it 4 points, they'll award a 4.5. So they're going to award a 0.5 for any honors. Anything that's AP, ACE, or dual enrollment, they're going to order a full quality point. So let's say you got an A in ACE English. You took ACE English, and let's say you got an A in that. They're not just going to give it 4 points, they're going to give it 5 points. So again, that GPA that you're seeing there is a weighted, recalculated GPA based on your academic classes. So that's why it's important to get good grades and take rigorous courses and so forth. Because again, colleges like to see that you are going beyond what is required of just high school graduation, and that you really are pushing yourself for you to be ready once you get into the college environment. Look at the test scores. The mid-range SAT, and again, the SAT is out of 1,600, 800 for your English-based reading, writing, 800 for your math. So a perfect score would be a 1,600. The mid-range SAT to get into FAU is between an 1120 and an 1160. Again, that's the average. You could have a little bit less or a little bit more. That is the mid-range, what students had on average. And then the ACT is another college admissions test that students typically start taking in the spring of their junior year, just like the SAT, and colleges will accept either or. The highest you can get on the ACT is a 36. And there's 4 sections. There's an English section, a reading section, a math section, and a science section. And the highest you can get in each section is a 36. So that 24, that score that's between a 24 and a 29 is the average of all those sections, the highest being 36. Again, that's why it's important to practice SAT and try to get some practice in for ACT, and why we say it's good to take the PSAT. So everything that I've been telling you throughout this presentation, there's a reason for it, and especially if you're planning on going into a 4-year university. As you can see, all the universities have a different mid-range. The more the competitive university, the higher mid-range the SAT, ACT, and GPA, the weighted GPA will be. Again, this is a really great tool for you to take a look at every year. We do update this. The class of 2020 should be coming out soon, and once we have that, we will have that on our school website, under school counseling, under college information, and I'm sure it'll go out most likely on our weekly reminder as well. We also have information for our Florida private colleges and universities. You have that in your packet. We have the average GPA and test scores and so forth. If you're interested in any other universities or colleges, you can Google that information. Many times the websites will have that information on their profile. Also, we have college visits. Right now, because of our current situation, they're being done virtually. But if you're on our weekly reminder, you'll find out information. And yes, as sophomores, you can sign up for these presentations. We also have it under college information, under college visits. But if you're on our weekly reminder, you'll find out that information right away. We have ones coming up soon in October, for instance. There's one for Eckerd College on October 22nd, Ringling College of Arts and Design on October 29th. We had University of Florida here on October 5th. Tulane University was here October 6th. So we have many universities coming from all over the nation and in our state giving presentations, and that's another good way to find out information about them, and like I said before, on their websites as well. Some of you may be considering other options following high school. One option could be the military. We have an article in our packet regarding the branches of the military. Traditionally, we have recruiters that do come here on campus on Wednesdays. Hopefully, when things get back to normal, we'll have that again as well. And also, to enter the military, a test that you would have to take is the Asvab. The earliest usually you can take the test is 10th grade. I know we say 11th and 12th, but it is offered to 10th grade as well. Traditionally 11th and 12th graders take it. The ASVAB is not only just a good test to take because you're interested in the military, but let's say you're not sure yet what you want to do as a career. The ASVAB is a great career aptitude test. Most students who take it at our school are taking it for that reason, to see what kind of career they may be suited for based on their aptitude and personality. We don't have yet the date for this year. Hopefully that'll be coming up soon, and when it is, we'll have it on our weekly reminder. But again, we talked about this 9th grade year. It's very important, if you haven't already, to start thinking about what kind of career you may want to consider in the future. And again, you're going to change your mind most likely, but at least try to do that career research. Again, ASVAB is a great test, but on your checklist, we have another website called Florida Shines. Florida Shines talks about not just the schools we have here in Florida, all the colleges and universities, but they have a great career planning tool where you can do an inventory test and also find out what universities, colleges, vocational schools have those majors that you may be interested in, those careers that you may be interested in. Also, My Next Move is another website we have on your checklist, on your sophomore checklist, that talks about the different careers and majors that are out there as well. You can do a career inventory test on that link. The important thing is that you start thinking about what is your plan after high school, because you're in your sophomore year. Freshman year went by very quickly, and we're well into your sophomore year right now, that hopefully you're starting to think about what that plan is that you may have and what the steps you're taking to try to achieve that plan. Again, we talked about 4-year school. We have things about military. You may also be starting to think about going to a 2-year state college and then doing an AA degree, an Associates of Arts, and then transferring and doing your last 2 years at the university, or even just studying a career at Palm Beach State. They have a lot of career options there where you're working after 2 years. But the important thing is that you start thinking about your plan and you're taking steps to put that plan in action. If you're planning on continuing your education after high school graduation, then you also need to start planning on how you're going to pay for that education. There are many scholarship and financial aid opportunities. In fact, if you go on our school website and click School Counseling and Scholarship and Financial Aid, you'll find a lot of resources there. However, if you're planning on staying in Florida, the Bright Future Scholarship Program can help you fund that education, whether you're going to a 4-year university or starting off at like Palm Beach State or any state college, and then continuing and doing your last 2 years, whether there or somewhere else. So Florida Academic Scholars and Florida Medallion Scholars are the 2 scholarships I'm going to discuss right now that can help pay for that. The Florida Academic Scholars is the highest award. Usually that pays off 100% of tuition and applicable fees at a university or college in Florida. And then the Florida Medallion Scholars covers about 75%. To earn the Florida Academic Scholars Award, you have to have a 3.5 weighted GPA in the following courses: your 4 English, your 4 Math, including Algebra 1 and above, 3 Sciences, 3 Social Studies, and your 2 years of a foreign language. And also up to 2 additional credits in those same courses listed above, and or in any AP, IB, or ACE type class. You also have to earn 100 hours of community service. Again, you need to go beyond the 20 if you're trying to get some of these scholarships. 1330 on the SAT or 29 on the ACT. To earn the Florida Medallion Scholars, again, this is the one that's 75%, you have to have a 3.0 weighted GPA in those same courses that I listed before, 75 hours of community service, and 1210 on the SAT or a 25 on the ACT. Again, these are good ways to try to earn money to go to school, especially here in Florida. You do have until the end of your senior year to qualify for these scholarships. Typically you apply October of your senior year, but you have till the end of your senior year to qualify. That's why it's so important to earn the good grades, to take those academic classes. Community service is important, and practice on those standardized tests to try to get them where they should be for scholarships and for colleges, if those are your plans. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact us. Hopefully we'll all get to see each other real soon. Until then, have a wonderful and successful sophomore year.